Hello, and welcome to the 6th episode of BrettCast, the sort of podcast where I take several of my segments and jam them into one longer video that releases once, maybe twice, a month. Coming up in this episode, Gaming Talk is going to kick things off with a two-parter, where first I am going to be discussing my experience with Pathfinder Kingmaker. After that, I'm going to be discussing and giving my thoughts on the Rally Adventure DLC in Forza Horizon 5. After that, I'm going to hit What's New With to discuss some recently revealed larger Transformers Legacy Evolution figures. And then finally, it's Movie and TV Talk, where I am going to discuss the most recent trailer for the Gran Turismo movie and give my current thoughts on what I think the story is based on, given what the trailer shows us. With that, let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to the Gaming Talk segment. In this segment, I'm going to discuss and give my thoughts on the game Pathfinder Kingmaker. And then after that, I'm going to talk about my experience in Forza Horizon 5's Rally Adventure DLC. But first, Pathfinder Kingmaker. So, let's get into it. This game is the first CRPG game that I've played, and I don't really get what makes a CRPG different from any other type of RPG game you play on PC, since the C in CRPG stands for computer, and it's a computer role-playing game. It's a role-playing game I am playing on a computer. But, whatever. Anyway, I've also never played the tabletop version of Pathfinder. I've only played a few games of D&D 5e, and that's kind of it. I vaguely know that the tabletop version of Pathfinder, I believe, is based on, 3 or 3.5 edition of D&D. And people loved it so much that they took it and made it its own thing and called it Pathfinder. Don't quote me on that, but I'm positive enough that's how it went. I also don't know the difference really between how a Pathfinder game is played versus how a D&D game is played, so there is also that. Anyway, one of the things that I really liked about this game is how much it feels like a video game version of a tabletop game. Everything you do is based on dice rolls and skill checks. I like that. I like how much from the tabletop game this video game goes off of. There's also random encounters on the map, which is a really nice touch. Though I do feel like the random encounter maps are a bit empty and don't really have more than 3 or 4 enemies on it, and sometimes they can bug out to where they won't have any exits until you save the game and reload it, and then they'll appear, but I guess that's not the worst thing ever. Yeah, the game does have a story. I honestly have not a single clue what it is or if I was even following it. There are also side quests. You get a quest and it will tell you where on the map you need to go to fulfill that side quest. So, I do like that, but it doesn't seem to do that for the main story, and that's what I don't know what the main story was about. There's also this haze or fog or whatever it is supposed to be called all over the map that took way too long to clear and get on the game, and that's probably the thing I dislike the most so far about the game. I felt like I was stuck for a couple hours trying to figure out, as I had hit all the other areas on the map except the areas inside of this haze or fog. They don't really make it clear how one is supposed to do this. Something else is that you can really screw up a playthrough if you're not careful. If you pick up an item for a quest and then you sell it without realizing it's for a quest, you're not getting that back. Additionally, I really am not a fan of the second half of the game, basically, where, I became Baron, and now on top of going out adventuring, I have to worry about the kingdom, I have to build and manage my kingdom, I don't want to do that. I want to go out on fucking adventures, man. I want to go slay shit. And the worst part about it is you get so many tasks that you can't do them all. It's impossible to do them all, you know? I have failed so many tasks already, and I've been barren for like, I don't know what the in-game time would be, but playtime, a couple of hours probably. And I'm already getting tasks that I'm failing because I never appointed somebody to do them, because the people I would appoint to do them were on other stuff that I appointed them to do. I can't make them do 50 things at once, you know? It really just feels tacked on and really unnecessary, and I don't like that part, you know? The adventuring feels great, but everything else, it's like, I didn't want it to be a management game on top of the adventuring part. But overall, this game does great in adapting Pathfinder's systems into a video game, which is the greatest strength of it. The adventuring, so much fun. But there are a few negatives that make me not really want to play another Pathfinder game too soon. I probably will eventually, but not quite soon enough. Pathfinder Kingmaker is still a good and enjoyable game. With that, let us move on to the next topic. It had been a good while since I played Forza Horizon 5, but, you know, I was just kind of in the mood for it. I had it in my head, I would just reinstall, hop on and into one of my cars and just kind of mess around, you know, in the open world. But, to my surprise, when the game got done reinstalling, I saw there was a whole new area, a new DLC, and that new DLC is called Rally Adventure. So, I've completed my time in Rally Adventure, and now I'm going to talk about it. Alright, so, Rally Adventure is the latest DLC added to Forza Horizon 5, and this is how things work when you play it. You go into this entirely new area that I've forgotten the name of, and you, of course, do your opening race. From there, you get introduced to the 3 teams you'll be doing races for. To be honest, I feel like the whole 3 teams thing doesn't really matter, because you don't face anyone a part of the team until like the very last part of whatever team you're doing. So for example, you start out with doing things under the Horizon Raptors team, and you'll unlock some rally events. These events are twofold, one part being the rally part, one being the race part, but the other thing you have to do is the rally part to progress with whatever team. Aside from that, each team will have something in the open world that will also progress with whatever team you're doing. So with the example of the Horizon Raptors, they have danger signs you do to gain rep with them outside of doing the rally events. And then once you get all, you do like 8 of the rally races, and then you face, I forget what the guy's name was, but then you face off against a one-on-one against a guy. After the Raptors, there's the Apex team. They are all about asphalt racing, but the events that matter are still called rally events, even though they're not off-road like they were for the Raptors. Anyway, the other thing the Apex team has is the XP signs you have to go around and smash with your car. For some reason it says that there's 526 signs, but I've smashed all of them, so that can't be right, because I've smashed 40 or 50, I believe, so it's probably a bug. The last team is the Grit Reapers, and while they do have the coolest name, their event is super lame. This is because it's literally the same rally event as the Raptors, but at night and in weather sometimes. And that's kind of it. Their open world thing is the drift sections, because why not? Each team will make you do 8 races, and then you face off against one guy at the end. What I find strange is that the one-on-one races, it's a predetermined thing what car you will use against them. Despite the other 8 races you do up until then, you can use whatever car that you want to. Now, the rally races themselves I'm not the biggest fan of, because you have this really annoying person calling out when there is a turn, or a jump, or a straight, or chickens. I don't know, maybe it's something that happens in actual rally racing, but I find it really annoying having this person talking so much while I'm trying to focus on the track. There's an array of new vehicles. Most of what I saw are rally trucks and cars and buggies, which are not my thing, so I honestly didn't keep many of the new vehicles. The map is small, doesn't have that much excitement going on, but there's a lot more off-road area if you need a place to show off your rally and other off-road vehicles. Overall, it's just kind of an alright DLC, but I personally have more fun with the Hot Wheels DLC for Forza. But Forza Horizon 5 Rally Adventure DLC is pretty average, but still pretty fun. And that's all I got, so that is going to bring the Gaming Talk segment to a close. Hello, and welcome to the What's New With segment. In this segment, I'm going to be looking at some recently revealed large Transformers Legacy Evolution figures. The first one I have here is the Commander Class Armada Universe Optimus Prime. Now, this is a figure that I really want to like. I do, but I can't. Yeah, the normal mode for robot mode looks really good, as does the super mode, and even the vehicle mode looks really good too. However, I am done supporting Hasbro and the crap that they're doing with this figure and past ones like Earthrise Leader Class Optimus Prime and Legacy Commander Class Motormaster. I guarantee you that this Prime is nothing more than a Voyager Class Prime with that huge ass trailer that forms all the super mode stuff. On top of that, this guy retails for a whopping $99, and that is what kills it for me right there. Look, Commander Class Jetfire from Siege, $79.99 upon release, which wasn't bad. Then, Commander Class Motormaster released for $89.99. And I said it in my review of him, that, and I still stand by this, that Motormaster was not and is not worth $90. Because he's nothing more than a Voyager class with a trailer. Had Motormaster been $79.99 like Jetfire was, I wouldn't have an issue. But bringing things back to Prime, going up another $10 in price from Motormaster for probably what will be a Voyager with a trailer. I really do like how this figure looks, but there is no way I'm paying $99 for it, so I will definitely wait until it goes on sale for a lot less, and if it doesn't, I won't get it. Which is sad, because I do have the Armada Leader Megatron on pre-order, and it would be nice to have both of them. The next one is the Titan Class Nemesis. Now, I do like the ship mode with this one, as it looks like they learned something from the Titan Class Arc. That ship mode has too many hollow areas. Ship mode looks really good, and I like it though. But the robot mode looks kind of weird. Now, I like the design of the head. It reminds me of Tarn a little bit, because it's like the Decepticon symbol. The proportions of the arms and the legs are just weird, as they both just seem really long and really thin and just weird looking, and the legs look like they're made out of triangles. I do think they nailed it with the dark and light purples and bits of red and gray, as they all go really well together. I won't be getting this one since Titan Class is a bit out of my price range, but this one does have a price of $199.99. And with that, that's going to bring the What's New With segment to a close. Hello, and welcome to the Movie and TV Talk segment. Recently, a trailer for Gran Turismo got released, and I wanted to talk a bit about it and share my thoughts on how the trailer gives us an idea as to what the story of the movie is going to be. Let's get into it. After watching this most recent trailer, I'm getting the sense of what the basis of the story of the movie is going to be. Main character is obviously a fan of the Gran Turismo games and seems to be good at them, so good that they enter a contest where the prize is to train to be in some sort of big race in the real world, or get signed to some kind of racing team, or maybe both of those. There's going to be struggle and hardship during the training, but ultimately main character is going to be the only one to pull through the training and win this race, and get signed to the racing team. It's very basic, but that's what I get from the trailer as to what the story of the movie is going to be. Now, is that a bad thing? No, it's not, but it's also not the kind of story I was expecting when I first heard about the Gran Turismo movie even existing. Like, I thought they were going to go the story route more akin to, like, Need for Speed. Well, okay. Not Cops versus Racer, because Gran Turismo doesn't do that, but maybe more like the movie Rush, if anyone but me remembers that movie. That would be a better example of what I'm thinking of. I was just not expecting the story to be about a person playing Gran Turismo and then winning the chance to actually get to race with real cars. I do have to admit that there are some pieces of dialogue in the trailer I don't really like the moment where a person spins off the track and this guy says something about if that earns you extra points in the game. Like, that kind of dialogue just really bugs me. Like, yeah, maybe that character, maybe they've never played a video game in their entire life. But if you're going to be what these people who win this contest from playing a video game are for, then you should make some sort of effort to have a basic understanding of how the game works. There's one thing I don't really like about this sort of story, and I feel like it props up the notion that if you can do something in a video game, you can do it in real life. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but I do believe this can be a negative thing, especially given that every time some sort of mass shooting happens, that video games are always to blame because the common, not very knowledgeable person, and I mean that, very limited understanding of video games, those kinds of people already thinks that, if you can shoot a gun in a game, you can do it in real life. And that is not true. Like, I can enjoy playing Forza Horizon, but that doesn't mean that I can drive like a pro racer in IRL. Again, maybe I'm overthinking it because in the trailer they show the contest winners going through intense physical training before doing this race stuff, but still. As much as I'm not a car person, I do have some interest in this movie and seeing how it turns out. Contrary to most people, I enjoy Need for Speed, so it'll be interesting to see if Sony can make Gran Turismo take the crown as my favorite racing video game based movie. But that's all I have, and that will end the movie and TV talk segment. And with that spells the end of this episode of BrettCast. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I may answer a question or discuss a comment in a future episode. If you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.